Right guys, back with a short video. I know it's been a while since I've done one, and I think the topic we're going to speak about today is something which an awful lot of people can relate to. I know I can. And it is, what do you do when you're having a really crap day in the weight room? So a day when everything feels heavy, you might not be moving very fast, or you might feel quite fatigued. There are things you can do in order to get through that session and keep you progressing towards your end goal. So we're going to have a look at some of these options now. So option number one is try to find ways of matching your training volume by altering your set and rep schemes for the day. So let's say, for example, you walked in the weight room and what you had planned was a lower body day, and the first lift you did was a back squat, and what you had written out was 4 sets of 8 at 100 kilo. So let's say you did all your warm-up sets and you got up to that first working set, and that first set of 8 felt awful, and you knew in the back of your mind that sets of 8 really weren't going to happen that day. So instead of doing 4 8s, how about you do 8 4s? So flip that on its head. You're still achieving the same amount of training volume, you're just doing it in a different way. So find ways of matching that planned training volume by altering the set and rep schemes. So total training volume over the long term is far more important, is a big thing to focus on in terms of developing muscle and building strength than looking at session to session. So find ways of matching that training volume and then improving it over the weeks. Option number 2 is all about changing the intent and the focus of the movement you're about to perform. So let's carry on using that example of a back squat. So let's say you did all your warm-up sets, and even with your alterations in set and rep schemes to match training volume, the load just still felt really heavy and the reps were really grindy and you felt really fatigued. What I would do in this case is strip some load off the bar and switch the focus of the movement to moving that bar as explosively as possible. So the intent here is moving closer towards speed and power training. So strip some load back, maybe perform sets of 3 to 5 reps. You might do that across 4 or 5 sets, whatever. But the point is that the movements aren't fatiguing because the load has been scaled back. Now that's not a bad thing. You're still getting practice underneath the bar, and you are still building some training volume. You're just doing it at lighter loads. But the point is, by changing the intent and the focus of the movement, you're able to get your training session done. So you can apply that across all movements for that day or just your main lifts. But change the focus of the movements if you have to, in order to help you get you through a session. Option number 3 is try to do something completely different that day. So let's say you had a weight session planned. You tried your set and your reps alterations, you tried changing the focus, and everything still felt really rubbish. Go and do a cycle, go for a swim, go for a walk, do some foam rolling, do some movement based drills, whatever. This can all be part of, I suppose, what you would call an active recovery from lifting weights. So we know that we need to be able to recover in between sessions. So some days you might not want to lift weights, so just go and move your body in other ways that will assist in your recovery, so that hopefully the next time you do go in the weight room, you might be feeling slightly perkier and you can start grinding out some reps. Option number 4, and believe me, I've probably picked this option numerous times, is do sweet FA and call it a day. Go home, take an extra day's rest. It's not going to do you too much damage in the long term. You know, sometimes we need a day off, maybe even 2 days off, but just realise that sometimes you need it. So it's not a bad thing. Just accept that it was an off day, go back and then come back and attack it another day. So there we have it guys, we've looked at some practical guidelines of things you can do or change if you're having a really off day and a crap day in the weight room. These things happen, we can't always be at our best. I hope this video has helped. Until next time, stay strong